Waited so long to have a chance with him, Ife thought to herself, her heart pounding with a mixture of envy and desire. And now, fate has brought him right to me. But this woman, this wife of his, she's in my way. As the days pass,
I see you, my heart they beats. A lady of all men's dreams. You be the one where they make me.
Chika lay on the hospital bed, her hands trembling as they gripped the bed sheet. Her eyes, swollen from the tears, stared blankly at the white ceiling above. The sterile scent of antiseptic filled the room, but all she could feel was the gaping hole inside her heart. Dr. Bassi, a middle-aged man with a kind face and a voice that had delivered too many bad news, stood at the foot of the bed. Mrs. Emeka, he began gently, I know this is difficult, but we need to discuss what happened. Chika's voice was barely above a whisper. Doctor, why? Why is this happening again? This is the 7th time. The 7th time I've lost my baby. What did I do wrong? Dr. Bassi sighed deeply, his expression filled with sympathy. We've conducted every possible test, Chika. Everything pointed to a healthy pregnancy, just like the previous one. But once again, the miscarriage occurred at 3 months. It's unusual, yes, but sometimes there are no clear answers to these things. Emeka, who had been silently siding beside her, finally spoke, his voice laced with frustration and sorrow. Doctor, there has to be something, a reason. We can't just keep going through this over and over without knowing why. I understand your frustration, Emeka, Dr. Bassi replied, meeting his gaze. We will continue to investigate, but I have to be honest with you both. Sometimes these things happen without an identifiable cause. Chika turned her head slowly to face her husband. How long? How long can we keep doing this, Emeka? I don't know how much I can take. Each time, it feels like a part of me is dying along with our baby. Emeka knelt beside her, his hand reaching for hers. We'll get through this, Chika. I promise. We'll keep trying until we hold our child in our arms. But as the doctor left, a heavy silence fell over the room. Chika stared at the wall, her heart aching with the weight of her loss. The pain was unbearable, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. Yet, she had no idea what it could be. Hey guys, returning subscribers, I appreciate you so much. Seeing my video for the first time, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Chika was the embodiment of joy and ambition, the firstborn in a family of 2 girls. She was adored by her parents and admired by everyone who knew her. Her love for children was evident from a very young age, as she would often gather the neighborhood kids for impromptu games and storytelling sessions. One day, as she and her younger sister Iroma played in their modest backyard in Enugu, Chika declared with absolute certainty, one day I am going to have a big family. I will have 5 children and they will all be happy and healthy. Iroma, then only 6 years old, looked up at her sister with wide eyes. 5 children, Chika, won't that be too many? Chika laughed, the sound light and carefree. No, it won't be too many at all. I will love each and every one of them with all my heart. Their mother, Nneka, overheard the conversation from the kitchen and smiled. Chika had always been matured beyond her years, responsible and nurturing. It was no surprise that she had such big dreams for the future. As the years passed, Chika excelled in school, always at the top of her class. She was intelligent, kind and driven, qualities that made her stand out. When she completed her studies at the University of Lagos, she immediately landed a prestigious job at a top firm in the city. Her parents were overjoyed, proud of the woman she had become. It was at this job that she met Emeka, a rising star in the company who had a reputation for being both brilliant and kind-hearted. Emeka was everything Chika had ever wanted in a partner. He was supportive, loving, and shared her dreams of having a family. They quickly became inseparable, their love story blossoming like a well-watered flower. One evening, after a particular long day at work, Emeka took Chika out to a dinner at a cozy restaurant by the waterfront. As they enjoyed their meal, Emeka reached across the table, taking Chika's hand in his. "Chika, you are the best thing that have ever happened to me," he began, his voice filled with emotion. "I can't imagine my life without you. Will you marry me?" Chika's heart skipped a beat as she looked into Emeka's eyes. She had been waiting for this moment, and now it was here. She felt a rush of joy unlike she had ever known. "Yes, Emeka. Yes, I will marry you." The wedding was a grand affair, attended by family and friends from all over Nigeria. Chika was over the moon, her dreams of a perfect life coming through. When she found out she was pregnant, just 2 months after their wedding, her happiness knew no bound. She had everything she had ever wanted: a loving husband, a beautiful home, and now the chance to become a mother. One sunny afternoon, Chika was in her office, working diligently on a report that was due by the end of the day. She had just stood up to grab a file from the next office when she heard a voice behind her. "Chika, you've been stained." Chika turned to see her colleague Ngozi pointing at the back of her skirt. A chill ran down her spine as she realized what had happened. She rushed to the bathroom, her heart pounding with fear. The sight of blood sent her into a panic. She was only 3 months along in her pregnancy. This couldn't be happening. With shaking hands, she called Emeka, her voice trembling. "Emeka, please come quickly. Something is wrong with our baby. I think I'm losing the baby." Emeka's voice was full of urgency as he responded. "Stay calm, Chika. I'm on my way. We'll get to the hospital and everything will be okay." But then, when he arrived at the hospital, the doctor's face told them everything they needed to know before he even spoke. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Emeka. You've had a miscarriage." Chika felt like the ground had been pulled out from under her. How could this be happening? She had done everything right, followed every piece of advice the doctor had given her. She felt numb as she was wheeled out of the hospital, her heart heavy with grief. These things sometimes happen without any apparent reason, the doctor had told them as they left. "It's not your fault, Chika. You can try again." Emeka was her rock during the difficult days that followed, helping her through the pain and reassuring her that they would have another chance. After weeks of bed rest and emotional healing, Chika eventually returned to work, determined to move forward. But the fear of losing another child lingered, casting a shadow over her once bright spirit. A few months later, Chika became pregnant again. This time, she was even more cautious, avoiding anything that could possibly harm the baby. She stayed away from stressful situations, ate only healthiest food, and followed the doctor's advice to the letter. But despite all her efforts, the same thing happened: a miscarriage at 3 months again. Chika was devastated. The pain was almost too much to bear. Her dreams of a big family seems to be slipping through her fingers. Emeka, seeing her despair, suggested that she quit her job to focus entirely on having a baby. At first, Chika resisted the idea. She loved her job and had worked so hard to build her career. But the desire to become a mother was stronger than anything else. And she finally agreed. "I just want to do everything I can to have a child." Chika told Emeka one evening as they sat together in their living room. "If that means leaving my job, then I will do it." Emeka nodded, understanding the depth of her longing. "We'll do whatever it takes, Chika. We'll get through this together." To help Chika focus on her health, they decided to hire help around the house. They reached out to an agency that specialized in finding domestic staff. And that's how they met Ife. From the moment they met her, Ife's calm demeanor and impeccable references impressed them. Ife comes highly recommended. The agency representative told them she's been with several families and they all speak very highly of her. She's hardworking, trustworthy, and great with household chores. Chika was immediately drawn to Ife's quiet nature and willingness to help. She seemed like the perfect person to assist around the house, while Chika concentrated on her pregnancy. Chika didn't know that Ife was not as innocent as she appeared. Years ago, when Ife was just a young girl, she had attended the same school as Emeka's younger sister. Although Emeka was older and they had never spoken, Ife had admired him from afar. She had always been drawn to his confident demeanor and kind heart. He was the kind of man she had dreamt of marrying one day. When she recognized Emeka as the man of the house, old feelings stirred within her. She was convinced that fate had brought them together and that Chika was an obstacle in her path to happiness. As Chika's fourth pregnancy progressed, Ife's jealousy grew. I've waited so long to have a chance with him, Ife thought to herself, her heart pounding with a mixture of envy and desire. And now, fate has brought him right to me. But this woman, this wife of his, she's in my way. As the days passed, Ife began to devise a plan. She was meticulous, ensuring that no one would suspect her intentions. She researched and found a traditional herbal concoction that, when ingested in small amounts over time, could cause a miscarriage without raising suspicions. It was subtle and deadly, just what she needed. One evening, as Chika sat at the dining table with Emeka, discussing their hopes for the future, Ife watched them from the kitchen, her face expressionless. She knew that the time had come to put her plan into action. Chika's fourth pregnancy seems to be going so well. She had quit her job, was resting as much as possible, and was hopeful that this time things would be different. She often felt fatigued, but she attributed it to the pregnancy. One morning, as Chika sat down to her usual breakfast prepared by Ife, she sipped her tea slowly, savoring the warmth. Unbeknown to her, Ife had already begun adding the concoction to Chika's meal. Ife, this tea is really good, Chika said, smiling as she looked up at her. Thank you for taking such good care of me. Ife smiled back, her expression unreadable. It's my pleasure, ma. I'm just happy to see you and Oga happy. But as the days went on, Chika began to feel uneasy. Something was wrong. She was more tired than usual, and a dull ache settled in her lower abdomen. The familiar fear crept back into her heart. One evening, after feeling a sharp pain, she called out to Emeka, who rushed her to the hospital. There, the doctor confirmed her worst fear again. Another miscarriage. The pain was unbearable, but this time it was compounded by a deep sense of dread. Why did this keep happening? What was she doing wrong? Back home, Chika withdrew into herself, the weight of her sorrow pulling her into a deep depression. Emeka tried to comfort her, but even his reassurance fell flat. Chika's sister Iroma came to stay with them, hoping to lift her sister's spirit. One evening, as Chika lay on the bed, Iroma entered the room and sat beside her. Chika, I am so sorry for everything you are going through, she said softly, taking her sister's hand. But I'm here for you. We'll get through this together. Chika nodded, tears streaming down her face. I just don't understand, Iroma. I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Iroma squeezed her hand, her eyes filled with concern. We'll figure it out, Chika. You are strong and you will come out of this stronger. During Chika's time in the hospital, something changed in the house. Ife, emboldened by her success in causing the miscarriage, saw an opportunity. With Chika out of the picture, she began to seduce Emeka, playing on his grief and vulnerability. One evening, after returning from the hospital, Emeka was sitting alone in the living room, nursing a drink. The house was quiet and the weight of his sorrow hung heavily in the air. Ife approached him, her movements deliberate and slow. Oga, I'm so sorry for what you are going through, she said softly, her voice laced with empathy. I can only imagine how hard this must be for you. Emeka looked up at her, his eyes filled with pain. Thank you, Ife. It's been unbearable. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Ife sat down beside him, her hands resting slightly on his arms. "You don't have to go through this alone, Oga. I'm here for you." Before Emeka could fully process what was happening, Ife leaned in and kissed him. At first, he pulled back, confused and shocked, but the vulnerability and loneliness he felt overwhelmed his judgment. They began an affair that night, a secret that would slowly unravel everything. Chika's sixth pregnancy ended in the same heartbreaking way, leaving her shattered and on the verge of giving up hope. But when she became pregnant for the seventh time, something was different. This time, she made it to 6 months, further than she had ever made it in her previous pregnancy. However, the joy was short-lived. Chika began experiencing the same symptoms that had preceded her previous miscarriages when she lost the baby. The devastation was absolute. This time, however, the doctor suggested something new, a test on the fetus to determine what was causing these recurring losses, even though she has done everything right. Chika agreed. Desperate for answer, the result shocked her. The doctor called her to the hospital for a private conversation. "Chika," Dr. Bassi said, his tone serious, "we found traces of a substance in the fetus. It's something that could have caused a miscarriage." Chika's heart raced. "Substance? What kind of substance? How did it get into my body?" "That's what we need to find out," Dr. Bassi replied. "It's possible that it was ingested, but the amount found suggests that it was administered slowly over time." The room spun around Chika as she tried to comprehend what the doctor was telling her. You mean someone could be doing this to me on purpose?" "It's a possibility," Dr. Bassi said gently. "I suggest you talk to your husband about this." And Chika, "Be careful." The word echoed in her mind as she left the hospital. Could it be possible that someone close to her was trying to harm her? She couldn't believe it, yet the evidence was clear. But who and why? Back at home, Chika was haunted by the doctor's word. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, and her mind kept returning to Ife. But Ife had been nothing but kind and supportive, hadn't she? Chika decided to install a secret camera in the kitchen. She didn't tell anyone, not even her husband, Emeka. She needed to see for herself what was happening in her own home. A few days later, Chika told Ife that she was pregnant again. She watched Ife's reaction closely, but the maid only smiled and congratulated her. "God has blessed you, madam. This time will be different in Jesus' name." Chika nodded, but her mind was elsewhere. She spent the next few days watching the camera footage on her phone, and what she saw shattered her world. One morning, Ife was in the kitchen, preparing Chika's breakfast as usual. But then, she saw it as an unmistakable motion as Ife added something to her hot water. Chika's heart pounded in her chest. As she rewound the footage and watched it again, there was no doubt about it. Ife was poisoning her. But the revelation didn't end there. Later that same day, Chika watched in horror as Ife and Emeka met in the hallway, exchanging a quick kiss when they thought no one was watching. The betrayal cut deep than any physical pain she had ever felt. The next morning, Chika knew it was time to confront both of them. She couldn't go on pretending everything was normal. She called both Emeka and Ife into the living room, her heart racing with a mix of anger and fear. Emeka looked concerned as he sat down. "What's going on, Chika? You look upset." "Ife," Chika began, her voice shaking with controlled rage. "Why don't you eat some of the food you prepared for me this morning?" Ife's eyes widened in surprise, and for a moment, she was speechless. "Madam, why would I?" "Just do it," Chika insisted, her voice rising. "Eat it." Ife hesitated, glancing nervously at Emeka, who looked confused. "Chika, what is this about?" Chika ignored him, her eyes fixed on Ife. "Eat it, Ife." When Ife refused, Chika pulled out her phone and played the footage of Ife, adding the substance to her tea. Emeka's face drained of color as he watched his eyes flicking from the screen to Ife. "Chika, what is this?" Emeka stammered, his voice barely audible. "That's not all," Chika continued, her voice cold. She showed them the footage of Ife and Emeka kissing, her heart breaking all over again as she watched her husband's betrayal. "Emeka, you've been cheating on me with our maid while she's been slowly poisoning me and killing our children," Chika said, her voice trembling with anger and pain. "How could you do this to me? To us?" Emeka was speechless, his mind racing as he tried to process everything. I don't know. I didn't know she was doing this, Chika. I swear." But before he could say more, Ife interrupted. "It's true, Chika. I did it. I did all of it. I wanted Emeka for myself." Ife's voice trembled as she continued her confession, her eyes filled with a twisted mix of defiance and desperation. "I've loved Emeka since we were younger, before you even came into his life. When I came to work here and saw how perfect your life was, I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand you having everything I ever wanted. So I decided to take it from you." Chika's breath caught in her throat, her body shaking with a mix of anger, betrayal and grief. "You killed my children," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You took everything from me." Ife met her gaze unflinching. "I did what I have to do. You don't deserve him. Chika, you don't deserve any of this." Emeka, still in shock, turned to Ife, his face confronted with disbelief. "How could you do this, Ife? I never promised you anything. I love Chika. I still do. You've destroyed everything." Tears welled up in Chika's eye as she looked at the man she had once trusted with her life. "You've loved me, Emeka. You betrayed me with this woman. How can you stand there and say you love me while she was killing our babies right under your nose?" Emeka sank to his knees, his hands covering his face as he began to sob. "I was weak, Chika. I left my grief and loneliness consume me, and I made the biggest mistake of my life. But I swear, I didn't know what she was doing. I didn't know." Chika took a step back, her heart breaking all over again. "You didn't know because you didn't care enough to notice. Emeka, I trusted you. I gave you everything for us, and this is how you repay me." The room fell into a heavy silence, the weight of everything that had been revealed pressing down on them all. Chika's mind raced as she tried to figure out what next to do. Part of her wanted to scream, to throw Ife out of the house and never look back. But another part of her, the part that had lost so much already, felt numb and empty. Finally, Chika took a deep breath, her voice cold and resolute. "I am calling the police, Ife. You are going to pay for what you've done." Ife's eyes widened in fear, and for a moment she seemed to consider running, but there was nowhere to go, and the reality of her actions began to sink in. "Please, Chika," she pleaded, her voice desperate. I didn't mean for things to go this far. I just wanted a chance." Chika's gaze hardened. "A chance? A chance to ruin my life, to kill my children. There is no forgiveness for what you've done. Ife, you will face the consequences." Emeka, still on his knees, reaching out to Chika, his voice choked with emotions. "Chika, please. I don't know. I don't know what was happening, but I'm begging you, please don't leave me. We can get through this. We can rebuild." Chika looked down at him, her expression unreadable. "I don't know if I can ever forgive you, Emeka. You broke our marriage vows. You let this woman into our lives, and because of you, I've lost everything. I need time to think." Without another word, Chika turned and walked out of the room, leaving Emeka and Ife behind. She felt a strange sense of relief as she walked away, knowing that she had finally taken control of her life again. But the pain of what she had lost still lingered, a deep wound that would take a long time to heal. Chika spent the next few weeks staying with her sister Iroma, who did everything she could to support her. During this time, Chika filed a police report against Ife, who was arrested and charged with multiple counts of poisoning and attempted murder. The case made headlines, and the trial that followed was a painful ordeal for Chika. but she faced it with the strength and courage that had always been a part of her. Emeka tried to reach out to Chika multiple times, sending messages, flowers, and even showing up at Iroma's house, begging for a chance to explain himself. But Chika refused to see him. She needed space to heal, to figure out what her life would look like without the man she had once loved so deeply. As days turned into weeks, Chika slowly began to rebuild her life. She found a new job, moved into a small apartment of her own, and started therapy to help her process everything she had been through. It wasn't easy, but with time, she began to find peace. One evening, as Chika was packing up the last of her belongings from the house she had once shared with Emeka, he showed up at the door. He looked tired and worn out, his eyes filled with regret. "Chika," he said softly, "I know I'm the last person you want to see, but I had to come. I had to tell you how sorry I am and how much I wish I could take it all back." Chika looked at him, her emotions conflicted. "Emeka, we've been through so much. I don't know if I can ever forgive you for what you did." Emeka nodded, tears streaming down in his eyes. "I understand. I just wanted you to know that I'm truly, truly sorry." Chika closed the door on her past, ready to embrace whatever the future held. She knew it would take time to heal, but she was finally on the path to finding herself again. As she walked out of the house for the last time, Chika felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. The pain of her losses would always be a part of her, but she knew she was strong enough to overcome it. She had survived and she would continue to survive, no matter what life threw her way. And as she stepped into the light of a new day, Chika knew that she was ready to start over, to build a new life for herself, a life that was filled with hope, love, and the promise of a brighter future. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in the next story. Goodbye.